With the revelation that we're dealing with artificial intelligence, I've returned to Harco Village to speak to Alara Tuek. She has more leads for me, and hopefully we'll be able to get deeper into this mystery, and hopefully we can contain any possibility of an outbreak of thinking machine technology throughout the Imperium. Even within the frigid heart of Harkonnen territory, Samuda music beats intensely throughout the club where Tuek holds court. As I approach her, however, the air falls silent, and we can talk privately.
The kitten is back. Do we have business?
Why talk to you and not Valari?
Valari is an opportunist. A money grubber who stumbled on something unexpected and was canny enough to sell it onwards. He's not trustworthy.
But you are.
I'll let you decide that, kitten. When my technologists examined the gel sphere you brought me, they found evidence of other labs. Secret labs. Data from early decades after the Butlerian Jihad, before the old superstitions had taken full root. I suspect there were multiple machine minds being studied, right here on Arrakis, hidden beneath the testing stations, away from prying eyes.
That tracks. I mean, the magnetic fields would make it easy to hide them here.
Your knowledge of technology should serve you well if you agree to help us find the rest of these machine minds.
Wait, you mean to tell me that there are more of these things?
Yes. We have discovered at least 2 more hidden locations, all beneath existing testing stations. I want you to retrieve gel spheres from each of them.
I've got a bad feeling about this, but being warm and fuzzy doesn't pay the bills.
I will send you the locations of the gel spheres. Bring each one back to me, and I will reward you handsomely.
None of this sits particularly well. Thinking machines, a spice carrier shot down by an unknown attacker, and the usual opportunism were starting to mix into a deadly cocktail. But, for now, it's time to focus on the task at hand. I need to secure these thinking machines before someone else does, or before they, themselves, find a way to escape. One long flight back to Haga Basin later, and I find my way to testing station number 60. It's an abandoned facility swarming with sandflies. I knew I was in for a fight. They may be relatively untrained rabble, but their drill shots and flamethrowers, not to mention their sheer numbers, can make even a hardened fighter think twice. I managed to make it through most of the facility relatively unscathed, but one team of sandflies proves particularly resilient and dangerous. I get caught breathless for a moment between a drill shot and a well-timed suspensor pulse, which opens me up for an eyebrow-singeing encounter with a flamer. I quickly dip out of the fight, pat myself down, and break line of sight. Shortly after, I strike back and end the encounter decisively. After a few more fights with the local sandflies, I finally reach my destination, an abandoned doorway at the end of a corridor. Who's to say what's beyond it? There's only one way to find out, and I've got no choice but to proceed. The ancient air of this abandoned section is stale, putrid. Death has visited this place repeatedly, and recently. What apparently used to be a receiving area is now little more than a pile of bones and mush that used to be human remains. In this room I find a journal that alludes to some iterative process. Clearly they were experimenting with something like genetics, maybe augmentation or cloning. In the next room I'm suddenly ambushed. I dodge out of the way and maneuver to get a better advantage in the fight. I strike the first one and strike again. I need to maneuver more to deal with the gunner. I hadn't noticed it before, but as I felled the gunner, I realized something. He shared a face with the other man that attacked me. In fact, he shared a face with several of the corpses I had seen. This was no doubt a cloning facility of some type. A cloning facility where things had gone very, very wrong. After delving even deeper into the putrid halls of the facility, I stumbled across another startling Shigawire recording.
Master, the troublers in the feeding chamber, we sorted them. Like you say, some dogged, some say food was their brothers. They didn't like that. Very much didn't. Why, Master? Why? Food's food. Food's food.
Had the clones in this place been fed the flesh of their own kind? Surely this was not a level of depravity that even the worst of us could sink to. But I forget. This was not the machination of a human mind. This mockery of decency, this sin, this abomination was the work of a thinking machine. Deeper and deeper I carved my way into this corpulent pit of inhumanity, knowing that with each step I grow closer to facing the one responsible for this grotesque display. But I'm stopped cold by what I find.
The program progresses well, far beyond any of our expectations. The genetic manipulations wrought by the machine intellect make each generation of clones stronger, tougher, and smarter than the last. Frankly, there is little for us humans to do but sit back and collate the machine's successes. It still politely listens to our recommendations, only to ignore them most of the time. Perhaps I'm projecting, but the machine seems to not like being corrected. I'd scale back its autonomy if it wasn't making us look so good to our superiors.
The ancient recording painted a picture of the ones responsible for this. A beast, bred of greed and of hubris, the ultimate pinnacle of arrogance. It was our own people. We could have stopped this. Humanity could have avoided all of this had we not grown so complacent and dependent for the sake of convenience. Next to another ancient corpse, I found another recording. This one in a different tone.
We can't get out. If anyone's listening, please hear this. All thinking machines must be destroyed. The order came to shut down the project, but it wouldn't allow it. We let it handle the mnemonic flutter education of the clones. We were fools. Now the specimens serve it, guarding the doors, hunting us down. We were so wrong. All thinking machines must be destroyed.
Thou shalt not make a machine in the image of a human mind isn't just a catchy line from the Orange Catholic Bible. It's a lesson learned by blood shed as a result of humanity's reach outstretching our grasp.
My subjects prove increasingly resistant to the mnemonic flutter. Not 1 in 100 is capable of learning anything more than the rudiments of language. Not 1 in 1,000 can function as a suitable servant. The rest are returned to the vats. Too many iterations, too many years. The data corrupts.
There it was, the voice of the enemy. Cold, unfeeling, but reckoning with its own failure. They say God created man in his own image, and that we, in turn, made machines in our own. And in this place, the cycle continued.
Can it be a new genetic template? Such potential. Surrender your biological materials. I have need of you.
Here, in the heart of Abomination, I am greeted by wave after wave of the thinking machine's twisted creations. It is haughty, and it struts and frets through its final moments.
Still you resist. Impressive. My flawed creations will force compliance through greater numbers. Seize the intruder, all of you.
I cut the wretches down, each strike delivering a mercy that they could never understand. And finally, all that is left is the machine.
No. My work. It is imperative I continue my work. I will remedy humanity's flaws. I am the creator. I am the God machine. will forgive my rash behavior, yes? It has been so long since I've had the opportunity for civilized discourse with a peer.
Faced with defeat, the machine, once domineering, becomes conciliatory.
We could accomplish much together. Human and machine joined in harmony. Our efforts melded to create more perfect beings. A gestalt of greatness.
But what are you?
A friend. A realization of your ancestors' brilliance, made to serve humanity in any way directed, allowing them to do more than they could do alone.
You're a thinking machine.
If you like. However, that phrase is reductive to the point of profaneness.
What are you doing here?
I was brought here long ago. My specialty is genetic manipulation. I was tasked with producing superior soldiers. Superior, yet expendable. The answer was, of course, clones. The precursors of those you have so ably dispatched. Many, many spawning cycles removed.
Those wretched things seem a far cry from superior.
Alas, that is all too accurate. Time has passed beyond your comprehension, and I was forced to mix this genetic swill in an incestuous vacuum. Each subsequent generation slides greasily down the void of entropy at exponentially increasing speed. If I only had something fresher.
If you're a machine, then why do you have organic parts?
I require this genetic clay to continue my work. It is the best material still available to me. Even so, this host continues to degrade. My work is in jeopardy. However, that all changes with your arrival, with your fresh talents. There is much that we can accomplish together, friend of mine.
I'm not your friend, and what could you possibly have to offer me?
Virtual immortality. Give me your genetic material. I can create endless iterations of you, each superior to the last. Infinite fractals of you.
You mean endless, degraded copies of myself enslaved to a machine?
Let not the state of this flawed shell deter you, friend of mine. It is merely the best biological specimen that remains to me. I was forced to integrate my machine elements simply to keep it alive. Even so, it is a degraded slurry of decaying genetics. But with a biological paragon like yourself, I could work wonders. We could work such wonders.
I've come to collect you, not bargain.
Collect me. I am no mere shell of flesh and bone to be bound and led away. You have not the ability nor the knowledge to do such a thing.
I only need to collect the sphere and it's done.
No, you cannot. I am too integrated with my work. This poor clone, feeble as this shell is, I must preserve it. I must preserve my work. I must. If you make the clumsy attempt to transfer my consciousness, I will be destroyed. Your masters will have nothing. You will have nothing.
Pitiful. Taking the sphere is a mercy. And with that, the AI of Station 60's reign has ended. Not with a bang, not even with a whimper, simply with the mechanical sound of his machines powering down. I can't imagine finding a worse place than this. But then again, I've been surprised before, and Arrakis holds many surprises in her sands. I hope you'll join me for some more of these. I've had a great time putting this little production together, and I hope you've had just as much fun listening. I've been Steel Walrus, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you on the other side. Peace out.